Hey friend, Graham here from recordingrevolution.com. Today I want to encourage you, if you've ever been stuck in a rut, or if you currently feel like you're stuck in a rut musically, I want to give you three practical things you can do to get yourself out of that rut. If you're a creative, which you are, if you're a music maker in any way, shape, or form, you aren't a robot and you can't sustain creative output at the level or quality that you want day in and day out without any dip. It's just not possible. We're humans and creative energy comes and goes at times. So it is actually a normal part of the process to get into those dips or those valleys where you feel like you don't have any great song ideas if you're a songwriter, where you feel like your performances are just boring and lackluster, where if you're an engineer, you feel like you're not mixing creatively or you're not hearing things well. Sometimes we just go through those moments where we're just not firing on all cylinders, and that's normal. I just want to encourage you to begin with. That's a normal part of the creative process. Just ask any painter, writer, movie director, actor, singer. We all have our moments where we just aren't feeling it. What's hard is when you have to mix a record or record something in the studio and you have to deliver something quality. If you aren't feeling jazzed, you aren't feeling creative, you aren't feeling like the juices are flowing, it's actually hard to do the work you were hired to do or the work you said you were going to be able to do. And it's really, really important to be able to get yourself out of these ruts. So let me give you three things that I do when I fall into these ruts, which come somewhat regularly. Maybe they will help you. The first thing you can do that is so easy to sort of unlock those creative juices is to simply go listen to some of your favorite music. Pick up any record you love, any song you love, anything that's not your music, not an artist you're working for, just music that you like. Put on good headphones, go sit somewhere and just listen. This is so simple, but a lot of people are under the weird impression that to be a great songwriter, to be a great engineer, to be a great creative, that you need to be working in isolation and never be influenced by the outside world. That's actually a made up fantasy. No one is isolated. No one can create in complete isolation without any influence. We were all introduced to music by listening to music, so we've been influenced from day one. You can't get rid of the influences. It's actually a very prideful, very arrogant way to think about music making, that somehow you're original and you don't need to be influenced by anybody. You don't want to be tainted by outside influences. You want to be pure. That's really, really an arrogant way to live. It's also a very detrimental way to live if you actually want to create good work. To actually fulfill your potential, to actually do what you want to do, you have to be heavily influenced by music, heavily influenced by other engineers and producers. That will actually kickstart and stir up the juices in your mind and unlock your creativity. You are not the other bands that you like. You are not the other engineers that you like. You are not me. I'm not you. We are all different. So what comes out of you is going to be different. But what comes out of you is going to be weak and tame and not as robust as it could be if you're just trying to create it from nothing, just sitting in a room and just hoping something comes out. You actually have to put input in to get output. And what comes out will be your own secret sauce. So don't be afraid of like homogenizing and being like everybody else. I would actually be influenced by as many pieces of music as possible, get as much input as possible. What comes out will be completely you. You'll actually get fueled up and fired up to make good music. So that's number one, is just go listen to some music. And you know what? It sounds dumb to say, but a lot of us engineers stop listening to music. I'm a great example. When I wasn't an engineer, I listened to way more music than I do now, by far. Because I'm so busy working on other people's music, even mixing my own music, creating tutorials, coaching students. I do music for a living. So I'm like, I don't really feel like listening to music, which ironically will kill the creative juices that help me make really good music for my clients, for my band, for my own material, and for my students. So go listen to music, become a listener again, have fun. The second thing you got to do when you're in a rut is just get out of your environment. This is common advice for anybody in any environment. We become so routinized and we actually respond to the same environment in the same ways. It becomes so easy to fall into patterns and we have the same thinking. So by physically leaving your room, leaving your home, going to the park, going down the street for coffee, taking a weekend and going somewhere, even if you just get out of your office for an hour, You can reset your clock. You can get a million ideas. Earlier this year, I got into road cycling. So I'll be on my bike out for a bike ride. And when I'm just out there, even for an hour, hour and a half, I get a million ideas just being outside in the fresh air, not being in this man cave, as it were, this audio cave, and just seeing different stimuli, seeing different visual stimuli wakes me up, and it helps me get more output when I get back into the studio. So sometimes you just have to walk outside for 10 minutes, have a sandwich, drink a glass of water, look at something other than your studio, and that's all it takes. Other times, try to build into that rhythm of work and life some more regular breaks, whether it's every quarter you take a little night away or you go somewhere, or every weekend you try to see something new, or once a year you take a big trip where you actually go somewhere completely different and you get visually stimulated. As a creative, even visual stimuli will change you and help you have ideas for musical ideas because your brain just responds to all the creative energy. So get out of your environment, it'll help you tremendously. And the final way to get out of a creative rut might be the most counterintuitive. A lot of times when people feel stuck, don't have ideas, want to jumpstart their creativity, they'll start introducing a bunch of new tools, gadgets, toys, experiences, new plugins. And some people are motivated by that. They'll play with a new plugin and get inspired. A new microphone, they'll get inspired. I know that can work for some people, and I don't want to knock it completely because that might be the secret sauce for you. Ironically, in my experience, in the experience of many people around me, the opposite has a better effect. Actually limiting the tools that you use, reducing your options, having a much more bare bones set of things in front of you to work with actually stimulates creativity. So, recent example, I was mixing a song for our Dueling Mixes students and our mixing community. And this month, I wasn't feeling it. I was like, I'm just not feeling like I'm creative. I don't feel like I have any good ideas for this song. Really cool song. I enjoyed working on it, but I was feeling like I was in a rut. And when this happens, I know in my bag of tricks, one of the things I pull out is I go stock plugin only. Now, if all you use are stock plugins anyway, this specific example won't help you. But for someone who's got access to any plugin I could want, and I've tried so many of them over the years, I get used to the certain few plugins that I like. I'm a big SSL channel strip from Waves guy. I'll use that on everything. I use a bunch of stuff on the mix bus. I still use stock plugins, but I have a combination of the 4 or 5 go-to plugins that are usually in every mix I do. But when I'm in a rut, I'll just dump all of that and I'll just call up nothing but stock Pro Tools plugins. So the stock EQ, the stock compressors, there's 2 of them that I'll use, stock reverb, stock delay, nothing but that stuff. And I'll tell myself, here's the challenge, Graham. You can do this mix and it has to be amazing, but you can only use the stock stuff. Something about limiting my options to stock plugins frees me up and ignites me to be creative, because here's what happens. I'm no longer thinking about plugin settings or plugin GUIs, like the interface, what it looks like, or which EQ to use. I've only got one. So I grab it, and now I'm thinking about the song. I'm like, all right, I know the tool. If I have to use this tool, how can I get this tool to make the desired result that I need? That type of limitation and boundary and parameter explodes creativity and excitement. And this should be true for most art. Take a painter, tell him to paint something. He'll say, great, I'll paint whatever I want. Cool, I'll paint a horse. Where do you want me to paint it? Be like, anywhere. Like, what do you mean anywhere? You want me to paint on the side of a building? Do you want me to paint it on an index card? Do you want me to paint it on a canvas? Do you want me to paint it on the side of a plane? Like, where am I painting this horse? How big is it going to be? How much space do I have to work with? Painters need a canvas, a boundary. It doesn't limit them. You can make amazing art on a tiny little square that you're going to put onto a bracelet or a necklace. Or you can make incredible art on the Sistine Chapel, on the ceiling. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. All the artist wants to know is, what are the boundaries that I'm working in? What are the limitations? What medium? What's the size of the canvas? Etc. Those are limitations. Okay, watercolor on an 8x11. Then, and only then, can the artist just go to town and create something amazing within those confines. And I think that if we as audio guys and gals could take that concept, pull it over into the way we record and mix music, I think we would have way more creativity, get out of ruts way faster, because we'd be ignited by the boundaries that then set us free to create art within those boundaries. But no one's going to create the boundaries for you. You have to create the boundaries for yourself. It's a huge, huge, important deal for you to understand is that with so much unlimited track count, unlimited plugins, unlimited use of plugins, unlimited space to record, unlimited takes, unlimited is not what makes you create art. Limitations, boundaries are what make you create art. And it's a huge, huge part of the music making process is to have the guts to create your own set of boundaries so that you can do your best work. So, my friend, if you are in a creative rut, if you are stuck, if you are bored, if you're not liking the work you're creating, if you just feel like, here are those 3 things you can do. Go listen to some great music. Get outside of your studio and see something physically different to stimulate your brain. And then set some boundaries. Limit yourself in your tool set, in time it takes to make a project. Have some creative, crazy boundary that you would normally not have to force you to do something different than you normally do and have some parameters. Those 3 things, they help me tremendously ignite creativity, ignite passion, and ignite good work, which at the end of the day is what you and I are trying to do. The 2 things. 1, I want to give you a gift if you've been watching this video and you stuck to the end. If you really need some help in creating your next piece of music, and you're like, Graham, I got a cool idea, but I'm feeling stuck. Well, not only should you implement those 3 things, but let me give you a step-by-step process that you can use to get that song idea from here, which I'm sure it's great in here, but it's not great until you get to share it with the rest of us out in a digital release. I have a 6-step guide that I give to students like you who are ready to make music. Know what do I do first? What do I do second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth? There are 6 distinct steps in the music creation process. Every song you listen to that you love, that's on the radio, that you're streaming right now, each of those songs has gone through these 6 steps. You can't skip a step. You can't shortcut a step. Every song has to go through this linear process. It doesn't have to be long, but there is a 6-step process for song creation. And I've outlined that for you as a tool to help you so when you're ready to make music, you know exactly what to do. It's called my 6 Steps to a Radio Ready Song Guide. I'm going to put the link here at radioreadyguide.com. Just go there, radioreadyguide.com, download the PDF, read it, implement it, get to work. It'll ignite your brain, it'll get you thinking, and you'll know exactly what to do next. It's absolutely free. It's just another tool, another piece of content that I can give you that's going to help you in addition to these videos. So download your copy at radioreadyguide.com and get to making music. And then before you go, leave me a comment when you're done downloading that. Let me know, what is one thing that you have done that helps you get out of creative ruts? Share it with the community below so that we can have more ideas beyond the 3 that I outlined here so that we won't get stuck and we can spur each other on to make better and better music wherever you are in that spectrum, from songwriter to mastering engineer and everywhere in between, or doing it all. Share it below. Help out the community. I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on another video real soon.